Hello, everyone. As promised, here's my presentation about TEFL certification, why it matters, and the best recommendations I can give to you to receive any information or things that I can't cover here. So we're going to talk all about TEFL and why it matters, because there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to this. People are saying all kinds of things that just aren't true, and some things that are true but are presented in such a way that the truth kind of gets lost, if that makes sense. So I want to clarify this now, and I'm basing this on my own personal experience as well as the experience of the majority of other TEFL teachers, not just the ones you hear online, you hear or see online complaining and moaning about everything. All right. So let's get started now, and we'll start with what is a TEFL. Well, a TEFL simply means teaching English as a foreign language. Back in the West, in English-speaking countries, where English is the primary language, you'll hear about ESL teachers. ESL simply means English as a second language. The only difference between a TEFL and an ESL is where you're teaching English. If you have foreigners coming into your English-speaking country and they are learning English, you are an ESL teacher, because for them it is a second language, because English would be the first language in that country. If you're teaching yourself as a foreigner in a non-English speaking country and you're teaching English, you are then teaching English as a foreign language, because this is not the main primary language of the country. There's also TOEFL, which stands for Teaching of English as a Foreign Language. So all three basically mean the same thing, and they have the same concepts and the same precepts, the same training, and all that good stuff. But for the purposes of this presentation, we are just going to go with TEFL. Okay? Why a TEFL is important. Well, many of you may be thinking about making a move. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to change your lifestyle. Maybe you're dissatisfied with your job. You want to see the world and do something you feel is useful, something you feel can make a difference. And you can do that. That's the good news. You can do that with a TEFL. Because with an accredited, legitimate TEFL certificate, you'll be able to teach English in almost any country you choose. Although keep in mind, some countries may have further qualifications other than a TEFL certificate. They might require you to have a bachelor's degree or higher in any subject, not just education. Now, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you where you can go to find all the resources you need to find all that information out. Okay? But it's a great way for you to be able to travel and make money while also giving back to your host country. You go to a foreign country, you're immersed in their culture. They treat you with a certain degree of respect. And it's a great way to give back, even if you're only going to be there 6 months or a year. You get to learn about a different culture. You get to see new things, experience new things. And with a TEFL, you'll be able to go there and give something back to that country. And you have to realize that the majority of countries that hire foreign English teachers will, at minimum, require a certified, accredited TEFL certificate from a reputable school. Okay, at minimum. Like I said, there may be other qualifications you need. Some might require a certain amount of experience. Some might require a bachelor's degree of some sort. But like I said, at the end, I will give you the information on where to find all that information for the country you may be thinking about going to. Or even if you don't know what country, maybe you know you want to do this, maybe you know it's something you're interested in, that's okay. I'll let you know where to go to get all the information you'll need. But a TEFL is important, despite what a lot of people say online, because your opportunities are extremely limited without a good TEFL certificate. And even if you don't plan on moving to another country, acquiring a TEFL looks great on your resume. You know, every resume you have the part for education. That's a good thing to add. It shows potential employers that you're interested in furthering your education. You've taken the jump. You've voluntarily said, I want to learn this, even though you might not be using it at the moment. And this can open opportunities for you in your home country just by having the accredited, legitimate TEFL certificate. So the most important reason to have one is if you plan on traveling and teaching English as a way to make your income. But even if you don't plan on doing that, or it's something you're planning way in the future, getting it now can open up opportunities for you back home. And then when you're ready to go, you have it, one less thing to worry about. But the most important reason to get a TEFL certificate, a good one, a legitimate one, is that you owe it to your students and your potential students to be as prepared as possible. Okay, they are relying on you to teach them something that will improve and enhance their lives and futures, and you should not take that flippantly. Okay, this isn't like any other job that you might be able to do, where you work by yourself and maybe your level of work, whether it's you have a high work ethic or you're not so motivated, maybe it only affects you. If you get fired, so what? It's not gonna affect the people around you. But when you're teaching, it's a whole different story, because your preparedness and your knowledge of teaching is going to be the key role in whether your students learn or whether they don't. And you should take that very seriously, because not having the proper training is a disservice to them, and your reputation as a teacher will suffer. I can speak from experience that if you leave a school because they feel that you weren't performing up to par and you go to apply at another school, well, you need them as a reference. You're going to need references. Not being prepared, not being able to do the job correctly, not being trained well enough is going to affect your reputation as a teacher. And once word gets out that this guy's no good, the students weren't learning, parents were unhappy, that can sink your reputation really fast. And you might not be able to find another job easily. And trust me, no matter where you go, no matter what level of learning your students have, they can tell if a teacher is professional and knowledgeable, and they can also tell if the teacher is just winging it every day, coming up with things off the top of their head in an effort to fill an hour of time and say, I'm teaching. Students are very astute, and they will see through you and they will react accordingly. This can make your job a nightmare if you don't have the proper training and don't know how to conduct yourself in a classroom. And for God's sake, invest in yourself. Finding the cheapest TEFL possible is a huge mistake. Most of them are nothing more than degree mills. They are there to take your money. They'll give you this preset, bare bones presentation they call a class, and your final exam, quote unquote, you could easily pass that without even taking a TEFL course. There's no thinking involved. There's no actual learning how to teach English involved. It's a very basic, bare bones course. Their goal is for you to give them $50 because you saw it on Groupon, $300. Hey, look, they're having a special. And I'm telling you, that's a huge mistake. You are not going to learn how to teach. You're not going to do well. And you're going to wind up hurting yourself, your reputation, and you'll be doing a huge disservice again to your students by cheaping out on the one thing you need if your plan is to teach abroad. And here's the thing, unfortunately, because TEFL schools are not as well regulated as traditional brick and mortar institutions of learning, almost anyone can have their own TEFL school, online, in person, and just mass produce diplomas. I can make a diploma in many different styles, fonts, very professional looking, on a free website I use online for my graphics, my YouTube thumbnails. I can make diplomas on those for free and just mass produce them. All I got to do is change the name. I could start my own TEFL school and start handing out degrees left and right. And unfortunately, a lot of people can. So picking the right school is the most important thing if you want to teach English abroad. Because people who choose the least expensive courses are ill prepared for an actual classroom. They often quit or get fired, and then they go online and blame the entire TEFL industry as a whole for their own failure. It always amazes me when somebody will ask online, what kind of TEFL course should I take? And you see response after response. Hey, I found this one on Groupon for $50. Or hey, this one's only $25. It's 50% off. Or hey, just get the $300 one. As long as you have it, it doesn't matter. Trust me, it does matter. It matters in a lot of places, whether you're teaching in person or even online. Unlike a college degree that some overseas schools might have a hard time tracking down to see if it's legitimate or not. A TEFL course is really easy to find. All they got to do is look it up online, see who the professors are, who the teachers are, and they can sense a fraud. They can sense which ones are just degree mills and which ones are legitimate. So if you want to take a chance on going overseas with one of these, being rejected by school after school after school, then that's on you. But if you're going to buy a $150 backpack, a $200 suitcase, get a whole new wardrobe and a new pair of shoes, $600 shoes to take with you overseas, and the one thing you're going to go cheap on is the one thing you need to do this long term and be sustainable, then your failures are going to be on you. Don't go online spreading lies about how all TEFL teachers are nobodies. They're uneducated. They don't know what they're doing. They're not really teaching the students anything. There's too much of that already. But with the right TEFL course, you'll be fine. Don't go cheap on the one thing you need to teach English in another country. I don't know how much I can stress that. So, a TEFL course or a TEFL certificate, a proper one, is one you will need to teach English overseas or even teach English online. And most schools will not take one that cannot be verified, that is not accredited, or that is run by some guy in his basement mass producing degrees. So keep that in mind. That is why I recommend, and as I said, this is a place you can go to get all your information, anything you want to know about different countries, what it's like to teach in different countries, what the qualifications are for different countries, what's the cost of living in different countries, how much you can expect to make in different countries. And you can find all that with one source, and that is the International TEFL Academy. And I'm going to give you right now 10 reasons why the International TEFL Academy offers the best TEFL certification for teaching English abroad in 2020. I can say with 100% certainty that this is a legitimate accredited TEFL course, and I can say that because it is the one I took. You will not be turned down from schools with this certificate. They can go back and verify all the accreditation with this school. They're not here today, gone tomorrow. Okay? So let's look at this. First of all, we care about you. Simple as that. We are not a diploma mill. If you're looking for a quick, cheap TEFL certification training, then we aren't the school for you. But if you're looking for a TEFL certificate that doesn't cut corners and will work with you one-on-one to craft a realistic, attainable plan, then you've met your match. Everyone on the ITA team has lived and traveled overseas extensively, so they know what they are doing. They speak from experience. They just didn't Google a question you have and come up with an answer you could have found yourself. They have real world practical experience. Our belief in education and our commitment to top quality training and service. We believe all students have a fundamental right to receive instruction from a trained professional teacher. All teachers have a responsibility to their students to provide them with the best possible educational experience, which requires professional level training. And their commitment is to provide our students, that would be you, with the training and guidance that will enable them to travel the world while teaching English and providing a quality educational experience abroad as a trained English teacher. And like I said, you can go here and get a country chart. That country chart will detail salaries, hiring requirements, interview procedures, and visa information in more than 50 countries worldwide. There's a link down below, by the way. It says International TEFL Academy. Click that link, and you can go there and download it. Alumni community networking and supporting. They've had over 30,000 graduates, and you're part of the family from the first day you enroll. And this is something I really like about them. They have country-specific Facebook groups. I belong to two of them, one for Cambodia, and they also have another one for no matter what country you want to teach in for non-degree holders. So they will give you information about countries that don't require a bachelor's degree if you want to teach English in that country. You can find, and the only people that are allowed to join are either people who are enrolled currently in their courses or those who have graduated. So you're not going to find the usual mess of disgruntled expats trying to discourage you and tell you you're wrong around, every time you post something. But you can ask questions about different countries, and you're going to hear from people who have experienced those countries, who are currently there. They've all graduated from ITA. And of course, ITA themselves, the administrators and counselors, they're all available at any time. Plus, they have their Instagram page, an alumni video library, hundreds of alumni stories, and they also do an annual Teach Abroad Film Festival. The best job search guidance in the industry. Yes, we said it. All ITA students and graduates receive lifetime job search guidance. We do not just email you over job boards and general information and wish you the best. We have 8 full-time student affairs advisors, and their only job is to assist graduates in finding paid work teaching English overseas or online. Every graduate will be assigned a student affairs advisor and will work with you one-on-one throughout your job search. They'll provide assistance with everything you need, from creating your CV and cover letter, coaching you on the interview process, and helping you evaluate job offers and contracts that are presented to you. This is all included. Once you graduate, they are still with you. You are now part of the ITA family, and they provide all this help for you from the very first day you enroll in a class throughout the rest of your life. They are there for you. You also get a job search guidance manual, ESL Worldwide School Directory, job search guidance for life. They have a comprehensive pre-enrollment guidance from expert admissions advisors. In other words, before you go teach, before you even enroll in a class, you're going to have to speak to an admissions advisor. And the reason for that is to ensure that every single one of our students is fully informed on what their realistic opportunities will be for teaching English abroad and online. They also want to make sure you know how the whole TEFL certification process works prior to committing time and money to enrolling in a course. They're not there just to take your money, throw a degree at you, and then wish you the best of luck. Before they do any of that, if they don't feel your goals are realistic, if they don't feel it's something you would enjoy doing, if it's something you're just thinking about, then they don't want you to enroll. When I first talked to an advisor, we talked for a very, very long time. And not once was I ever tried to be sold on buying their course right away. She answered my questions honestly. And at the end, I was the one that insisted I buy it right now. My advisor actually said, "Are you sure?" She asked me 3 times. She said, "I'm entering your credit card information. Are you sure this is something you want?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Okay." I entered it before I hit enter. I just want to make sure that you're not having second thoughts, or if you have any more questions, etc. So they're not there just to try to hard sell you on buying the course when you talk to them. They want to be sure your questions are answered. And all of them, all the admissions advisors have lived, worked, traveled, and taught abroad. So they have firsthand experience. Now here's the good part. You're not getting your instructions from some guy in a basement who looked up some things on Google and made a slideshow and calls it a TEFL course. All the TEFL instruction provided by university level professors at ITA. That's right. Instruction is provided by highly qualified university level professors with extensive experience teaching English as a foreign language. And they must all meet or exceed the following standards. Every single one of your instructors is going to hold a master's degree in education or a TESOL or higher. And a high percentage of them will also hold a PhD. They have to have at least 1 year of overseas teaching experience. And they must hold professional experience in online education, including the use of advanced platforms and applications such as Moodle and WebEx. So when you're being taught by people with at least a master's degree in education. They have accredited TEFL course options to fit our students' needs. International accreditation from leading independent bodies in the field, including those ones. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And in the course, your requirement is to have at least 100 hours of academic work and 6 to 20 hours of live practice teaching, observation, and or tutoring. You cannot graduate from this course by giving them money. You have to do the work. You have to pass your exams. You have to do your weekly tests. You have to do the things they require you to do. And if you don't graduate. You have to present at least 6 hours of teaching in a class or on an online platform that can be verified that you did that, at least 6 hours, up to 20, either during your course or after you're done with your course. They give you, I think, 6 weeks to get that in. If you don't provide that, you do not graduate. This is not a degree mill. Just because you give them money doesn't mean you're automatically going to pass. You have to do the work. And if that bothers you in some way, you probably shouldn't think about coming overseas to teach. But if you're like me and you were like, I'm up for the challenge, I can do this, then definitely check it out. Just click that link below and go right there. But yeah, you will have to submit your practicum packet, in order to graduate. But they help you find places where you can get your 6 hours of classroom teaching in, and they give you ideas on how to do that. So you're not just left alone. Okay, there are limited class sizes to ensure individual attention, and you have an interactive hands-on learning experience. Quality assurance. ITA issues its awards to TQ UK, one of the leading accrediting bodies for TEFL certification in the world that is sanctioned and recognized by the British government. The certification is lifetime and qualifies our graduates to work in any country with an English teaching market worldwide. And you can come here and find out more about that. You can even come here, click the link below, come here, access a class demo. Continuing education opportunities. They have classes after you graduate from the basic course, if you want. Specialty courses include teaching English online, business English, young learners, and other specialty classes. So your education doesn't have to end. ITA TEFL certification classes are regarded as the best in the field. And they have a whole page. These are just some of them. Some of the awards they've won, but they got a whole page dedicated to it on their blog. Again, click the link, go there, check it out. But they're the #1 TEFL school by goabroad.com, gooverseas.com, #1 best online TEFL course, #1 best in-person TEFL class. They also receive recognition as the top-ranked online TEFL class in several categories at gooverseas.com Community Choice Awards as well. And they have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Bureau. Be my bureau. Donate today. Don't believe us? See what the alumni have to say, including myself, who gives them the highest of recommendations. There's the ratings for you. Go Abroad, 9.65 out of 650 reviews. Go Overseas, 9.3 rating. Google Reviews, 4.7. Facebook, 4.7 out of 5. So there you have it. That's why I recommend the International TEFL Academy to people. Because if you're going to invest in something, remember to invest in yourself. And that's the one thing you need. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter the color of your skin. It matters your commitment to providing the best educational experience for your students as possible. And the way to do that is to get the proper training to be a teacher of English yourself. Just because you know how to speak English does not mean you know how to teach English to others. And that's the main difference between a cheap TEFL course or this professional one run by actual university level professors. So like I said, there is a link down below that you can go and sign up now if you're thinking about becoming a TEFL teacher, getting your certification, getting ready for your trip when this whole virus thing is over. Maybe your plans have been put on hold, or maybe once it's over, you think, well, being in quarantine all that time made me kind of regret things I hadn't done. Maybe you're thinking, once I get out, I want to travel. I want to do things. But how will I support myself? How will I get the money to do that? Well, like I said, you can start traveling with a certain amount of money, and then you can just teach English to keep that money coming in. Continue your travels. or like I did, come to a country that you really, really love and just stay here. But anyway, that's my whole TEFL video and why it matters. And like I said, I wanted to get this out here because there's so much misinformation online. People say, well, you don't need a TEFL. They say you need a TEFL, but I know a friend or a friend of a friend. He's over there. He's been teaching there, and he doesn't have a TEFL, and they just let him teach. And the fact is, there are a lot of people teaching in countries illegally. That is not going to go well for you if you get caught. And there are also people who are teaching that are doing no service, no real educating to their students. They're just doing it for a paycheck. And trust me, if you don't have a TEFL certificate and you find a school that will let you teach without one, I will almost guarantee you that the amount of money you're going to get is going to be half or less of what you would if you had a legitimate accredited TEFL. So if you want to come somewhere overseas and you're too cheap to go to get a TEFL certificate, and you find a job working under the table somewhere, and you want to work for $300-400 a month, 5-6 hours a day, that's up to you. But also keep in mind that you have no recourse should that school decide not to pay you, or should that school just kick you out. Then where are you going to go? You're going to come home and have everybody go, see, I told you you weren't going to make it, after you told them before you left how you were going to do all these things. Do you want to get somewhere overseas and find out you can't get a teaching job anywhere because that $300 course isn't worth the paper that your diploma is printed on? Or have so many limited opportunities where you can only go to certain countries because some countries won't accept your certification? You can make it easy on yourself just by getting a quality TEFL certificate and making a difference. And if you don't want to go to make a difference, you just want to do this so you can travel and make money and party every night, then my best advice to you would be just don't do it. There are too many teachers, quote unquote, like that out there already, and they give the whole community a bad reputation. Go overseas, have fun, enjoy the culture, party all you want, but take your teaching seriously enough to invest in yourself and make sure your students are getting the best education they can. Because in some countries, learning English can be a life-changing opportunity for these people. All right, off my soapbox. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do have any questions about TEFL or anything else, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. This video is going to be exclusive to certain people for the first week, because people who support me, who donate to me, or who join my Patreon, they deserve to know first. But unlike some exclusive videos where I never publish it anywhere else, this one I will unlock in a week, just because I think it's something a broad range of people might want to know about. All right. That's it for me. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.